Welcome back to the City Current Radio Show. I'm your host, Jeremy Park. We're honored to be with our next guest, Henry E. Reaves III. He's the owner and founder of the Reaves Law Firm. How are you doing, Henry?
Oh, fantastic, man. So happy to be here with you.
So you are celebrating 10 years, so we have an anniversary to cover, but give us a little bit of your backstory in terms of being the founder and starting the firm. So give us a little bit of the backstory.
Oh, yeah. Just when I got out of the Air Force, when I got out of the military, I ended up going to law school at Indiana University. And I came back to Memphis. I got a great opportunity with one of the largest insurance defense firms in the South. However, I was working for the insurance companies. So I kind of felt like I was, keeping the hurt people from getting paid. And so I went out. I wanted to be on the plaintiff side, and I just interviewed at pretty much every plaintiff's firm that was out there, and I didn't get that opportunity. And so I ended up just starting my own, and 10 years later, here we are.
What was the first phase of that like? Because I think for many entrepreneurs, you go down one path and you realize, wait a second, I need to just do this myself. So what was that like in terms of those first formative stages of putting the firm together and going out on your own and just saying, I'm going to do this myself?
I think if we look at the formative years, I think there was, the aspect of what type of law am I going to do? Because, you come out and it's like, man, I got to pay my bills. I got to feed my kids. I'm taking whatever comes through the door. I'm not going to be like, hey, I'm a specialist. I can't do that. My kid doesn't want to eat tonight. So I was taking pretty much everything through the door. If you ever been to 201 Poplar, if you ever had to go there for a ticket, there's these elevators that comes down. And so I would just be at the bottom of those elevators starting out, with a jacket and trying to sign criminal cases, contracts, anything like that. I ended up getting into a car wreck and I got to do the plaintiff side, for myself. And, we started putting funds into that plaintiff's injury and personal injury. That is the niche, and that's stuck. And that's where that's kind of where we were.
What did you learn from going through it yourself that you thought, hey, this ultimately is going to, help me become a better lawyer, attorney, a better firm? What did you learn going through it yourself?
I mean, I think that I just picked up the empathy even more, because it's like, you can have a natural, empathy and stuff like that. But once you've actually kind of gone through it and you kind of know the hassles, what physical therapy is like, what negotiating with them is like, on your behalf, and you really get to feel the personal aspect of it. If you're just doing it from a business perspective and you're just doing it for someone else, you really don't get to have that personal feel. So I got to have that, and I think that increased the empathy that I had with my clients.
So talk about where you are right now as a firm in terms of size and specialization. So give us the elevator pitch.
Oh, yeah. Well, right now, I mean, we're, one of the largest growing personal injury law firms, one of the largest in Tennessee. We probably have right around 20 attorneys. If we're talking about total staff, it's probably less than it's probably less than 100 right now, somewhere around there. We're primarily focusing on personal injury. We also do bankruptcy. So the majority of the accidents that we get are car accidents. We also do premises liability when people get killed or shot at apartment complexes. But the majority of our stuff is catastrophic auto accidents right now.
When you look at building your team, talk about what you look for, because I know that on your end, you're looking for obviously the expertise, but you're looking for empathy. So what on your end are you looking for good team members?
I mean, well, this is a service-based business that we are. It's personal injury. So I need to have people who, kind of just have it as far as that customer service. I tell my people a story kind of about customer service. It's kind of like if you go to, just say, if you go to Lowe's or Home Depot or something like that, and you can run into three type of employees. So you're asking for a spigot or whatever widget it is. You're going to run into that first employee that maybe they don't know. And they might tell you, shoot, I don't know. And they go on about their business and you going about yours. Now you might also find that the second one, you might find that person who knows where the widget is. And they're like, hey, well, that widget is in aisle 5, just go right down. But then there's that third person who's like, you know what? Come on, let me take you. You looking for a widget? Come on, let me walk with you. They're going to hold your hand. you know, and they're going to walk down with you. And the crazy thing about it is that third person might be someone who doesn't even know where the widget is, but they're like so committed to making sure that you get that widget. They're like, here, let me take your hand. Let's go find out. Let's go talk and let's go discover. And so you as a client, like, you know, you've had the experience, but you would probably rate that third person higher than the second person, even though the second person had the knowledge and knew exactly where to go. And so that's what I try to, you know, let my team know, is just that extra bit. Is like, even if you don't know the answer, is like, if they feel like you're willing to go on the journey with them, you know what I'm saying? That's kind of the key to great customer service. And that's what it's all about, because I can get somebody a policy limits. You can get someone a policy limits. That's basically saying I can get them literally every possible thing that I could get from the insurance company, and they can still be unhappy. But you can get someone who has like a less than stellar result, but your communication has been on point. You know, your empathy has been on point. You've really shown concern and fixed their stuff, and they're like a client for life or a customer for life. So, you know, those are the kind of things that I'm looking at and focusing on when I'm thinking of team members, because like, it's always, you know, it's like, there's lots of good people, smart people who could work, but you need to have good people.
Yeah. And I think, you know, you're talking a lot about culture, and, you know, the culture is something that it's focused on the people, but it's also focused on your leadership and, you know, incentivizing the right behaviors and all of these things that really create the culture that you're talking about. Share a little bit of just some of the different ways that you've gone about building your business. And so you've done some very creative things. Give us a little bit of the vantage point of some of the things that you've done creatively to build your business.
I think one of the things that I looked at that I think is probably it's probably a downside for lots of entrepreneurs who kind of start out, is they don't start out really with the right pie. You know, so I kind of, you know, if you draw a pie graph and if you look at how you're putting your money, I'm going to say entrepreneurs, the majority of their money starting out, like 90–80% should be towards like marketing. Whereas a lot of people, you know, when they're looking at starting out, like, they get tied up with this brick and mortar. Like, everyone was like, for lawyers here, it's some type of prestige to say, like, I'm downtown, I'm a downtown lawyer. Oh, well, my office is off of this place on Poplar, and you can look down and, you know, see the minions below, and, you know, like these type of things, like, that didn't make any sense to me. So I think that the biggest thing that I try to do is try to stay lean in the beginning. The majority of the stuff that I was doing, the majority of the money that I spent was on marketing. And I really utilized, like, for a lot of time when I was starting out, I just had a virtual office. You know, none of my clients knew it. No one really knew it. But I mean, they kept my overhead, you know, down tremendously. And instead of me giving money in rent, instead of me paying an extra $1,500, $2,000 in rent, I'm able to put that in marketing that I'm getting an ROI. So I think that was part of it. And I think that, you know, one of my keys that I have for success for growth is that I always made sure that, like, money is, you know, money has always been kind of like a byproduct of, like, serving the people. Like, so that's the reason why, like, a lot of people get out here and make money, but you're not going to see a whole bunch of businesses that are celebrating their 10th year and they're still growing and stuff like that, and they're 10 years around. Because a lot of them have a hyper focus on, like, money. Like, what can I do to get money? Well, if I do this, well, maybe I could charge a little bit more. Well, maybe I could do this and I can, you know, and they're so busy on just trying to, you know, extrapolate everything from that one individual, you know, person or that one individual client, that they're thinking penny wise, pound foolish, and they don't think in the long run. Whereas any business, and it doesn't matter what your business is like, if you're focusing on being the best at what you do, and you're focusing on that client experience and taking care of that client, like, your business is going to grow. And that's if you're a law firm or if you're selling lemonade with lemonade stand, it doesn't matter. Like, if I got a lemonade stand and I'm like, man, I could save money if I don't put sugar in this lemonade. Like, like, you know how much I could cut down? like I'm gonna make more money, like no sugar. But that's how people in service industries, like they'll do it. They forget to add the sugar, they forget to add the sugar in their business.
Well, and I think, I mean, that's extremely great advice for entrepreneurs, especially in terms of like, focus on the marketing. Don't cut out the sugar when the sugar is what's going to help you sell. Community engagement, though, like you're talking about, and serving the community is a big part of that culture and what runs through for you personally, but also your organization. You're very philanthropic, very community minded. Give us a little bit of the vantage point, because I know on your end, Glasses for Classes, you also have, a big part of the MLGW Gift for Comfort and Gift of Comfort. Talk about community service from your vantage point.
For a community service, the way I look at it is, I think most people, if they've reached like any type of monicum of success, they become more philanthropic. I think that's just natural. And I think that's just a fact that like I'm full. So if you imagine someone sitting at a dinner table and, if we're sitting next to each other, if you're hungry and I'm hungry and I got a plate and you don't have a plate, like I'm eating everything on my plate because like I'm hungry. Like I got to fill myself up. I'm starving. I have needs I have to meet. I got to pay my bills. I got to take care of my mother. I got to take care of my family and stuff like that. But, once you get full and once you've had that and you got it, well, now you're just more, prone to be like, hey, well, man, did you eat, man? Like, are you hungry, man? You over here, Jeremy, you over here slobbing out your mouth, man. Here, man, go and take one of my chicken nuggets or something like that. And so I think that there's like people try to give, they try to like compliment, people for being, for giving back and stuff like that. And that's, it's appreciated. But I really think that the majority of people, if they really had the opportunity, like that's what they would do. So it's so it's not like people, who have success are just like naturally better than some people, or they're nicer or anything like that. It's just they're not necessarily more altruistic, like they're just full and they can do it. And that's just kind of where I am. It's like, so I get more joy out of MLGW, like giving, like I get more joy out of giving $10,000 to MLGW than giving $10,000 to Gucci or Louis Vuitton or something like that. It's like, it's only so, it's only so much joy that like materialistic stuff for yourself is going to bring you. And so that's where I am. I try to be responsible and, we try to, make sure that we have enough savings for the business to keep going and stuff like that. But I think it's just more joy in giving back.
Carry the thought forward on the MLGW in terms of what that is so that listeners have an idea. So when you talk about like $10,000 going to MLGW, ultimately that goes to help the consumer. So talk about how that works.
Oh yeah. I mean, and that's just a situation. We were just thinking of how we can, help people out kind of in these times, and, what do they really need? And just from a personal experience, and any entrepreneur also, will share this. Most entrepreneurs will share this starting up is you're starting off and you're really slim. You really figure out like, what are the things that you actually need? Because that's what, coming from a place of scarcity, you really have to do that calculation. And I think that calculation coming up, we figured that you need to have house, you got to have some type of shelter, you got to have food, and you got to have electricity. Like you got to have MLGW. So it's like, we wanted to make sure that we can bless people, and we start out here in the local Whitehaven area. If we can bless people, and we just, paid, a lot of the phone bills, but that's one of the things that is kind of the purpose, to have a platform, is to kind of actually, do stuff. So we did that, and we kind of keep our ears, down to the streets and kind of see where the need is. And because of our size, and we're not really tied to you know, we don't have the bureaucracy or red tape of the government or anything like that. We can kind of jump in and do it. Like when we had the furlough, you know, we were able to team up with Ed King, and we donated like $100,000 worth of meals and stuff like that for the furloughed, you know, government workers. And so we really, really look forward to, you know, doing those types of things.
Yeah, absolutely. Helping the community, the families, the individuals. Wrap up with contact information. So where do we go? Website, social media, phone numbers. Where would you direct everyone to learn more about your firm?
Hey, great. Hey, if you are a loved one have been seriously injured, you can call us at 901-352-0333. That's 901-352-0333. Or you can find us online at beyourvoice.com. You can follow us at Reaves Law Firm on Facebook and Instagram. And man, Jeremy, I really want to thank you, man, for your, you know, thank you for your time. Thank you for having me on the show, man.
Absolutely. So Henry, thank you for all you and your team at the Reaves Law Firm do. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you for coming on the show.
Hey, you have a great one, Jeremy.